Katie.
No problem.
Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
Kayak Bass Nation is presented by Dugout Bait and Tackle. Go to dugoutfishing.com to find everything you need for your next kayak bass fishing tournament.
Hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego.
Also sponsored by Revo Sunglasses. Go to revo.com, use code KBN25 to save 25% off your next order. Revo, best lenses on earth. Also sponsored by Western Sun Vodka. Go to westernsundistillery.com and use the bottle finder to find a bottle near you.
Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
Bam, better late than never. What's up, everybody? Welcome to KBN Live. And I want to give a special welcome to my co-host tonight, Katie. What's up? How you doing?
What's up, man?
Good. We got some chatting to do. You dropped all kinds of news in the last week or two, so
I know.
We got to talk about it. But thanks for sliding in for Lambert, as everyone can probably expect. If you've been following Hobie Worlds, he's still traveling back. I think he missed a flight in New York. Him and Marshall, they're stuck in New York right now, so they're traveling back safely. We all enjoyed watching them. And we actually had a couple USA team members getting that top 10. I think Christine slid in at 5th. Matt Ramey was at 9th. I'm not sure what the rest of them did, but it was cool following that over there. Did you follow that, Katie?
Oh, absolutely. We're watching that. Some nights I was staying up really late to watch the start of it and then would go to sleep for a little bit and wake up really early just to keep track of the leaderboard since they kept shutting it off.
Yeah, it's weird. You know, there's 6-hour time difference. So, you know, they're getting started at whatever, midnight our time or whatever time it was here. And it was hard to figure it out on when the leaderboard was going to be on and off. But my favorite part of the whole event was watching Jordan Marshall's food updates, like his description of all the weird foods the whole week. So that was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was at that and watching all the bumper cars videos. That was freaking hilarious. Every time they were on the shotgun starts, just blasting awesome. Each other. That was a trip.
Yeah, Ryan was out there doing his best. Ricky Bobby putting people on the wall. Yeah, and if you guys saw, we got a great guest tonight, Cody Milton. He's been on before, former #1 KBN power ranked angler. He's always in that top 5. But right now he's leading 2 different AOY trails. And to me, I told Cody this before we went live. He's in the waiting room there. It's kind of the most under the radar great season that I've seen in a while. Like he's sitting there leading the Pro Series over there with KBF. And of course he's leading the BOS series ahead of the Minor Brothers, the new country band, the Minor Brothers. And it's like nobody's talking about Cody. Everybody's talking about all these other people, and here's Cody just ho-humming along, busting out top 5 finishes all over the place.
That's why there's no pressure. Nobody's paying attention to him.
Yeah. Arkansas. He's just too smooth in Arkansas. Oh, Steve. Steve checking in on YouTube. He's up in Cape Cod. He's been at Yankees games. His wife's, I think, met every dog in the Northeast. So well done.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think she's met a lot of new friends there.
Yeah. So good stuff. We got a lot of people on YouTube tonight. So appreciate y'all on YouTube. And of course, the OGs on Facebook. If you guys want to help us out and share this around, it doesn't cost you a thing. Just click share on Facebook or just drop us a comment on YouTube. Appreciate you listening and watching on YouTube. Yeah, Garrett Clark's talking about the Copperheads. We're going to get into a little KFL talk before we get Cody in here. And we'll get his opinion on it too. He's on the Hogs, so he's got an inside access. And your husband's on the Hogs now. So
I was just going to say, Ryan was just up in Arkansas yesterday or the day before.
Yeah. So before we do that, we always like to shout out the sponsors, of course, Dugout Bait and Tackle, the presenting sponsor here. We appreciate everything they do for the podcast, and they're always giving good deals down at Dugout. You can go to dugoutfishing.com and find those. And then we've got Revo Sunglasses, best lenses on earth. It's been hotter than you know what all summer long everywhere in the country from north to south, and it's bright and sunny, so I'm sure people are looking for good glasses. Use KBN25 and get you some Revos. You will not be disappointed. Ryan Lambert said he will buy them for you if you don't like them. He's not here to back that up. That's what he said. And then, of course, Western Sun. Katie knows all about that Western Sun. You guys are partnered up with them as well. Best vodka there is, right there, sourced in Texas and Pilot Point, right down the road from you guys, isn't it, Katie?
Yeah, they're actually only like 20 minutes away.
You know what I still haven't had from them, even though I've seen them like advertising stuff, is those like push pops, the popsicle things. They don't sell them up here anymore.
They're really good. That's the one downside of my current situation. Yeah. We've got all these tasty things in the house. I can't touch them.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that real quick. Your current situation. So first thing, you announced that we got a little baka coming into the world. So what tell us about that? How exciting is that for you guys?
Oh, dude, that's like, we're still trying to wrap our brains around it. I'm 18 weeks pregnant now. And it was semi-expected. But it was one of those things that we weren't sure if that was going to happen for us. And then pretty much the minute you stop worrying about it is exactly when it happens. So that's going to be wild. That's one of the other reasons we're looking to move out of Texas.
Well, that was the second thing. You paint a post on KBN on the group page. Best place to live and raise a family, and with good fishing, of course, outside of Texas. And that got a lot of comments. So
yeah, we thought it was a trip. The ones that said like Japan, and Canada and stuff like that. Yeah. For people who don't know, we're originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So all of our baby's family is up there. And it's like a 20-hour drive to come down here. So we were thinking what it's looking like now is we're probably going to end up in Tennessee.
Okay.
Because that'll put us right smack in the middle to every direction for tournaments. We'll only be 8 hours from Pittsburgh and pretty much 8 hours from Texas. So yeah, and it's a nice little middle.
Your child will have a mentor right there in Lambert. He can help raise your child.
Exactly.
He did a great job with Ewing and Jackson and all these young guys. So he'll take we got a name picked out if we know it's a girl or a boy. What are we leaning? Are we going to put a question up there?
I was going to say we've not done a gender reveal. We were trying to think of like a fun way to do that. We're still thinking about that one, but we do have a few names in mind.
I feel like you should do it on live. Tell us when you're going to do it. We'll do it right here on live.
Oh, snap. That's a solid possibility.
Yeah. It could be a big exploding topwater or something like that. Who knows what you can do.
Something. That's what, my sister just messaged me this morning and said pretty much exactly that. She's like, you need to make a lure and make it a certain color and just like fling it out of the water or something.
Yeah. So that's cool stuff. Excited for y'all. Excited to see where you end up. Of course, Tennessee's like, the holy grail of fishing locations. It's right in the center of everything. All the tournaments happen there every year. You got great local clubs. Of course, the national trails come through there, so that couldn't go wrong. Although I did pitch Northwest Arkansas pretty hard. I sent you some messages on that.
Well, and honestly, there was a bunch of solid places. I had a handful of people blow up my DMs about that. They were like, no, you got to come here, and you got to come here in Alabama, and you got to come here in Georgia. And we actually were looking around all of those places. But once you move to Texas and you get used to this caliber of fishing, if it's not even close to this, it's not worth the time. That would just make me crazy to move from somewhere you can pop a 10-pounder anytime to somewhere that like 5 pounds is impressive.
You don't want to come up to Northwest Arkansas where 12-inch spotted bass are aplenty? Come on.
Dude. That's all Ryan was catching this weekend. He was so frustrated.
Where'd they go? Were they at White Oak? There's some big ones in there.
Yeah, they were at White Oak, but apparently just the little ones were on the prowl. He caught like 20 of them and just couldn't get any size. But they also have the 14-inch minimum. So that does make it a little trickier, even though people don't really think about that unless you've ever fished an event that does that. It actually is pretty challenging to get 5 over 14.
You know what it is? I can't have somebody living in Texas come into Arkansas and do well. That's the horns down, the whole horns down thing.
Seriously, it's a thing. And I even told him that. I'm like, are you sure you want to fish for Arkansas? Because Arkansas does not play well with us. Like every time we go there, we do terribly.
Yeah, that's funny. Are you guys coming to Dardanelle, though? Are you making another run at it for Dardanelle?
Yeah. Even that's one of those, like, what we've done that the last 2 years, right? I think.
Yeah. I know I've seen you. It was at Dardanelle.
So
Dardanelle and Conway for the Spanglers thing. I've seen you both places. So
yeah, we're gonna take another swing at it. Different time of year from last time we were there, so we'll see what happens.
Got some Texas fans in the comments. Sorry, boys. It's football season. I don't want to hear it.
Go Steelers.
Yeah. Hey, and before we get Cody in here, I want to get his opinion on this too when he comes in. But the last couple of weeks, we don't talk a lot about KFL in here, but there's been a lot of KFL, I'm going to call them bloopers or mess ups the last few weeks. By anglers, by the organization, by owners. It's been quite a mess. I'm not real in tune with it, but I've gotten in tune over the last few weeks here. Especially this last one where a guy, I'm going to try to get this right, Katie. I don't know what you know about this, but a guy got DQ'd from an event in Florida for not wearing a PFD, if I have that part right.
Yep.
He decided to remain at the event and play defense around other anglers or just kind of fish in front of everybody else as just an angler which outraged some people, I guess. And then the KFL mafia of a couple of owners basically decreed that if they didn't drop him, that the entire team would be banned, just like the Texas team. So I don't know. I bet Deshaun Watson's glad he's not in the KFL. He wouldn't have a chance in the KFL.
That lines up pretty much with what I've been told from my undisclosed sources.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a really, why would you do that, man?
Yeah, it's bizarre. And what happened to the Texas team a few weeks ago, we hadn't really talked much about that, but all of it is leading to a loss of credibility, I'm afraid, from some of the leadership over there. I'm not, like I said, involved directly, but I do have a lot of friends that are involved, including your husband, Ryan. My buddy Garrett Morgan's involved. Cody's on the team. Jordan Marshall's on the team. So I know people that are involved and having a good time with it, but it could crumble quick if you set the wrong precedent with some of these decisions they're making. So I'll be curious to see how it plays out.
Right. And really a lot of this stuff is coming down to, you've got to have somebody, they need a board or whatnot that's making these executive decisions. There's too much bias when you're an owner. That's just my personal opinion. If they wanted to try to stop the train of things that are starting to snowball in front of them, they need a board, somebody else that's a separate entity that has no interest in it, to help make decisions. I mean, and it's just growing pains of a new organization. It's not like it's unexpected. Yeah,
it's they've compared themselves to NFL a few times, which is kind of goofy. But if you're going to do that, the NFL is controlled by all the owners, and it takes a overwhelming majority vote of all the owners to make severe decisions. Like Roger Goodell, people think he's in charge of the NFL. He works for the owners. It's not the other way around. But anyway, I digress. They're not close to that. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. There's some teams that are bailing out completely. There's some people that are dying on that hill. They're defending it, to the end. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's an interesting concept. I'm still bothered by some of the lingo. I don't like the word games or players involved with fishing. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I'm not down with it either. Some of it,
yeah, let's go with match. Maybe match. Does that sound better?
That sounds a little better. Yeah, because it's definitely not. It's not a game. I don't
know. No offense to any KFL people watching. I got friends.
No, absolutely not. It's it just is what it is.
Yeah. GC Bass and saying the Cali Comrades are ready to answer the call next year. They're going to join the league.
I did see that.
Anglers and match. Yeah, Steve. I agree with you, Steve. Need some redefinitions.
Yeah.
We'll do like the government redefine things around here. Anyway, we're not going to get into any of that. Cody's been patiently waiting over there. Let's get Cody in and talk a little bit about his season. Hang on a second. Make sure I don't frank this thing up again. How about melted the computer down earlier? All right, Cody, what's up, my man? Thanks for patiently waiting.
Absolutely. How are y'all doing?
Good, man. Good. Where you at? You in Arkansas or are you somewhere on the road?
I am. Yeah, made it back from Memphis last night at like midnight or so.
Okay. I figured you didn't take all those trophies on the road. They had to be yours. You could be in somebody else's house with all those trophies. I don't know.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, those are yours.
Ryan said you were doing some crazy running around this weekend. He's like, I said, did Cody get there? He was like, yeah. And then he went to Texas and he'll be back in the morning. And I think he's going to Arkansas.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like I was sitting at the house on Thursday and watching the FedEx Cup playoffs in Memphis, and I was like, man, I hadn't gone in 3 years. Like, really want to go, and I was already going to go fish White Oak. I had to film on Saturday morning at Lake Fork, so I pre-fished Friday on White Oak, and then left. Made it to Emory like Saturday at like midnight. Stayed up till like 2 or 3. Drove back to White Oak after fishing on Lake Fork. It's actually kind of wild. I fished for 14 hours on Saturday, and I never caught a fish over 14 inches.
Crazy.
But to be fair, I threw a spinner bait for 14 hours, so I didn't change a lot. But it didn't work out.
What were you shooting on Fork, or is that top secret?
Do what?
So what were you shooting down there, or is that top secret stuff?
No, we were just doing some motor stuff, like, trying to break them, getting some good drone shots weaving through the trees. The lake's still like 7 or 8 foot low. But I've been there for, man, it sounds crazy because I've been there for almost 20 years now. It was like the only time I've ever seen it look like that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. And you mentioned golf, man. Are you a golfer? Do you play golf?
I am. Yeah.
I saw your post like right there watching the guy,
I think I made it on
the green.
Yeah. Me and the 12-year-olds is what somebody said. I think it was like me and a bunch of 12-year-olds in the circles. Because if you don't run there, you don't get a good shot. So
yeah, that's all right.
I was having
Are you pretty good?
Yeah, I played a lot of. So I went to college for 2 years, and then I went to a golf school for 2 years after that, and I was professional for probably like a year and a half or 2 years. I played some mini tour stuff in Florida and out of Dallas, like the fair and like Sunshine Tour in Dallas, I think.
Okay. Snap.
But I cut my finger off, so that kind of ended the golf career a little early. But I've been playing a lot lately, man. The Live Tour's kind of got me motivated again.
Okay, trying to get you $100 million from the Live Tour.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Now, how old are you, Cody?
I'm 29.
Okay, so you might have played. Did you play ASGA stuff and all that? Was it?
I did. Yeah, I played ASGA. I'd played in a St. Jude's Monday qualifier. I played in quite a few things.
I'm just thinking.
Never really did anything too big, really. But
okay, I'm just thinking a bunch of the guys I knew growing up that played it. That are just a little bit older than my son, about your age, and Zach O'Reilly and Graham, whatever, from Hot Springs. They played in all the. Probably about your age, playing in all those tournaments. So who knows? Small world. Funny. Yeah. But this is not a golf podcast, Katie. We're getting off in the weeds here. Let's talk about fishing, man. Like I said before you came on, you've been having one hell of a year, but it's kind of just flown under the radar. Then you pop over to the AOY standings, and there's Cody in first in the biggest, baddest series in the land right now, the Bass Open Series, and over on the KBF Pro Series. You're tied for first. Yeah. So let's talk about that, dude. Is that kind of unexpected to you? I mean, have you felt like it's kind of flown under the radar?
Maybe a little bit, just because, we talked about this earlier. Like, I think I've won 2 events this year, and they were both on the KBF side. But, my Hobies have been good. I think I'm not using a 5th place finish or something like that, or a 6th, so it's like that early spring tournaments. Like, I feel like it's been a really early spring grind this year. And it's probably some of the most true, like, quote unquote spawn tournaments I feel like we've hit in probably 2 years. And I feel like anytime I'm around truly like 60 to 70% of the fish are actually spawning, I always do well. And I feel like we hit that like 3 or 4 times, like between Santee, like between, I can't even remember the other one. It was like 3 tournaments in a row. I felt like I was sight fishing or throwing a spinnerbait. I guess it was Caddo. But yeah, it was like, some of it was just, good scheduling. Like, I would definitely put a lot of it on that for me.
Okay. And I know, Caddo's right in your wheelhouse. You've always enjoyed fishing there, had success there. And just so happens the TOC's there. So who knows what could happen this fall.
That's, I definitely, and I'll plan on going. I haven't seen the cutoff yet. I think the cutoff's a month before. Is it how it has been, I guess?
That's how it used to be. I don't know. Yeah, Katie will probably find it. Katie's co-hosting and still in the comments with all the links. So clutch, Katie.
I was looking yesterday and I was trying to find it, but now I want to put, every step forward I can, every foot forward I can. I mean, I totally intend on going down there a little early. Honestly, I'll probably go fish Bistineau for a few days to just kind of break the bats in and get ready for, a whole week on Caddo.
Yeah. And that lakes, or that area, it seems like all the big tournaments that have gone down there have been multi-lake deals, and this one's just Caddo only and only 50 anglers. So it's going to be fantastic. Yep. You guys should have plenty of room to spread out and
we
fish
really
what you want.
Should. Yep. Yeah, because I mean, it's no secret. You know, we I don't know. We've had a lot of tournaments there. People know where a lot of good fish get caught, where winners have came out of, and that can kind of be tough. But with 50 people, I don't really think it's going to be. It's a really big lake that fishes really good from north to south. So I think we'll be pretty spread out. And I don't know. I mean, if it gets cold, I've spent a decent amount of time on Caddo in November, and they school up like really, really good. But when we were there for the national championship last year, the bite was still really tough on Caddo. That hadn't like quite happened yet. Like they were starting to, but they really didn't want to eat anything. So it could be tough, but I'm sure the numbers will still look good at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's a 3-dayer, a straight up 3-dayer, which it's always fun to watch as well. It's a whole fish management issue as well. So let's talk about your seasons, man, on both trails. I guess we can start with the BOS, but I'm looking at let me see if I can share my screen for everybody to see what I'm looking at. There we go. I'm looking at your list of events there. 3 events up in the high 90s, 97, 98, 97. And then, Chickamauga, a little reality check for you, but that's okay. You get to drop events. What's been your favorite event where just going in from practice to the tournament itself, you knew it was going to be hard to handle you in that tournament?
Man, probably Santee, but not the way that it actually played out. I probably had one of the biggest days pre-fishing I'd ever had on any lake. Like I bet I probably had 106 or 108 inches on Thursday or Wednesday. And I never went back there. Like the wind was so strong. And I pre-fished on Friday and did pretty good. That was in really protected water. And I actually ended up spending the whole tournament there. But yeah, it was weird because it was the best practice I ever had. But in reality, I really didn't actually use a lot of the things that I've had in practice. But it was just kind of the same bite, just a little smaller spinnerbait.
Spinnerbait, man. You love the spinnerbait. That's no secret.
I do. Yeah, I can throw it for 14 hours and not catch a bass. I've learned, so it's hard to put it down.
Do you throw it on fluoro or braid or?
I throw it on fluoro. Yeah, there's a few times if I'm really burning a spinnerbait, like around lacrosse or around pads, I'll throw it on straight braid. I usually use a little different spinnerbait for that, like a little heavier wire one. But yeah, I do like throwing a spinnerbait on braid, like especially in some northern lakes with a lot more hydrilla.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I remember somebody mentioning something about you throwing a rattle trap on braid, and I thought that was interesting.
Do that. Yeah, I pretty well always do that.
What? Because you're ripping grass, Cody? Is that why?
Yeah, you can fish it. The rips aren't as big. Like you can pop it without the bait going 4 feet out of the grass. Like it's like you can pop it a foot out and it still just kind of be right in front of their face, opposed to like really having to lean into it almost. I don't know, that's kind of been my feeling on it. That and it's louder too. Like if they're really on loud baits, like I mean, even a jackhammer, like the frequencies are totally different between braid to fluoro or braid to fluoro leader. Just
because of the no stretch, is that the deal?
Yeah,
just really thumps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like that. We're learning a little something from Cody, pro golfer and pro kayak angler, obviously.
Not anymore.
Yeah. That's it. I'm trying to get I'm going to go back to golf. My son up here, he just got out of the military, moved up here by me. He lives in Bella Vista, Golfer's Paradise, Bella Vista up there. And he keeps going back and forth between going out and fishing the kayak tournaments with me next year or getting serious about his golf because he's a really good golfer as well. So I'm trying to get him back on the fishing side. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I know John Daly's son's still running up around Paradise Valley and all that stuff, isn't he?
Yeah, he still plays for the U of A. He's still playing.
My roommate is the assistant pro where he plays all the time. So I'd seen him play quite a bit up there.
Yeah, Paradise Valley is like literally 5 minutes down the road from the house here.
That's cool. Yeah. I've played up there a lot.
Yeah, good stuff. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about, you said Santee kind of set up great for you there. What about on the KBF side? And KBF's a little different because you can have one good weekend and kind of make your year. So what about over there?
Yeah. So as far as the KBF on where?
Just what tournament or weekend, what lake for a weekend did you feel best about over there?
Definitely Caddo. Yeah, I mean, we hit Caddo, I think. It was either 2 days after a full moon or it was either 2 days after a new moon. But, I mean, it was I think every tree I pretty well caught a fish on during the tournament. I, got a bite there in practice. And like, that's when the tree fishing just gets easy. Like, that's when it's like just stupid easy.
Yeah.
But it's not always like that. Like, especially like Conway or even at White Oak where we fished that KFL with the Arkansas Hogs last weekend, like 90% of the time they're not on trees. Like, they're really not. And it's like when they are, it's awesome. But like, you waste a lot of time fishing those stinking things. But
the few times I've fished Conway and I've caught them on trees, it's like you can find there's something about a few magic trees.
Yeah, always.
There'll be all these trees that look exactly alike in the same water depth or whatever, but there's something about this certain set of trees or the knees on them or whatever, and it'll hold those fish, and it'll be,
It's crazy. And I've seen it at Caddo where like there's one tree in an area I love fishing. It's like every single spring 4 will spawn on it, like 1 on each side. It's like it's just insane. And then like the tree over it, there's nothing on it, but like that tree will have like 3 to 4 spawners on it every year. It's odd. Yeah.
Well, break down the KBF race for me, because you're tied with Ryan, who's one of my teammates on Old Town. But like I said, when we talked about this coming in, you can kind of make a weekend or make your season on one weekend. Although you guys all have the top 3 here have different lakes on your list for the Pro Series. Anyway, on the trail side, AOY, there's a lot of guys with like 2 of the same lake because they did day 1, day 2. They did good back to back. Does that make it harder when you got a hot angler on the same lake twice in a row and they can kind of get stack points?
Yeah. I mean, no, there was definitely some people in the 10 last year that, I mean, they, obviously they had to have a good third tournament somewhere, but, they'd either, win both days of the tournament or finish second both days. So, I mean, it's like when you're on fish, it's usually you can get it, you can get them both days, if you kind of put your head down. But, it's a little different. It's kind of taken me some time to get used to. Like, I honestly like the Pro Series side of it more, just having the 2 days, the 2 days to focus on versus – I feel like the time that I tried to fish 2 single events, I never really did as well. Like, I did better just, like, almost trying to save fish and fish it, like, as if I was a Hobie or something.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And it makes sense why there's 2 different AOI leaders on the trail versus the pro side, 2 days versus the 1 each. Are you okay with them stacking events like that? A lot of people, I don't like the way to, like, trying to follow that. I don't like it. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
And it kind of messes with the numbers. Are you just like, whatever, I'm fishing, whatever's in front of me and just roll with it? Or
I mean, that's kind of always the mindset I've been under. It's like, I don't really care where the tournament is or who puts it on. I'll generally show up, but no, it's tough. I mean, it's tough because like, it does kind of dictate the, the AOI quite a bit. And it's like, you have tournaments where, I mean, there might be, you may have one that there's 15 or 20 guys that, you win both of them or something. It's like you're all the way up there when, there was tournaments in Gunnersville or Caddo with 100, 190 people or whatever.
Right. Right.
But, I mean, that's just like the reality of the year. I mean, I feel like we've seen that over the years. Like, it seems like by the time we hit July, it's really hard to get 100 people at any tournament, regardless of what it is.
It's like that all the way down. Even the local trails dive off in July,
Yeah. I mean, fishing gets tough. No one wants to be out there when it's 100 degrees. I mean, it sucks. But, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of, I guess, lightly my take on it a little bit.
Right. And it seems like whether it's KBF or Hobie or whatever, it always comes down to the championship anyway, because I don't think anyone's won, not to jinx you, Cody, I don't think anyone's won the BOS AOY that was leading going into the TOC. I don't think that's happened yet.
One in the top 3 has.
No,
like, I've fallen way past that. And most of the time, it's like usually not a limit one day. Like, it's, it's happened to me. I know it's happened to several other people. So, I don't know. Caddo, like I say, it should be a place where, like, limits aren't as much of a deal. Like, it should be catching some pretty big stringers. But, in the fall, you never know. So, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Trying to keep up with the comments. You seen anything I should be throwing up there, Katie?
Not so far.
All right.
At least not on Facebook.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the comments and I'll throw them up here for Cody if I see them go by. Like I said, we got quite a few of you on YouTube tonight. Appreciate you over there. So let's talk about this. I kind of described you this way leading up to you coming on here. Every year you're in the mix on whatever trail you decide to fish. You're in the mix. You're always around that top 5, top 10, whatever. What are some of the keys to being so consistent over the years? I mean, obviously you're not just throwing a spinnerbait for 9 tournaments a year nonstop. So
Yeah.
what are some of your keys to being consistent?
Probably quick, man. Probably just really fishing super quick. I feel like the better you are at fishing, I almost feel like the faster you're able to fish. In a lot of the tournaments we go, I feel like the faster you can fish during the event, the more opportunities you have. Like, not to take that's kind of a Kevin Van Dam mentality. It's like if I'm covering 90%, more water than everyone else, like I can catch the 10% active fish versus the 90 they're just floating out, that you're seeing on live scope or something. I mean, for me, that was the biggest change this year. Like, I had been super frustrated with probably trying to get too locked down in an area, and I know at least like 3 to 4 of my really good finishes this year. Like, I know I covered over 10 miles of water, with broken bow probably being well over 20. Like, I mean, I still have tendonitis from that event. Right. My tendonitis off for my life, that event. It did.
Did you go rappel off the mountain with Garrett for that one back in some creek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was worth it. Like, even from that point, you hadn't even started. Like, it's still so far, and it's brutal.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I've heard that from multiple high-level anglers. I know Dwayne is a really fast fisherman, Beatty up my way.
Yeah.
Russ fishes pretty fast. There's a lot of Jordan Marshall covers a lot of water, fishes fast. So that's kind of a consistent theme with you guys. I don't know a lot of folks that just sit and dob one spot that are at the highest level. Maybe that's why I'm not at the highest level right now, Katie. I do that too much. I sit in one spot.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. A lot of anglers have a lot of different opinions on that, on how hard do you want to pound it out in this one little cove versus move. That seems like a really big, wide range of options.
Yeah, it's kind of like the old football coach from Pulaski Academy that was full throttle, never punted. The most plays he could get in, he figured the odds were in his favor. So the same thing. The more cast you can get in, the more water you can cover, the odds are in your favor. That makes sense.
Yep.
Makes sense.
I've played some Pulaski games before.
Yeah. Somebody asked a question. Cody, how often do you guide on the little red or white for trout, or do you even do that anymore?
So I would say I usually say 30 days a year, with probably 70% of it being in May and December. Over the years, I have so many friends that guide, from James Dillard to Drew, that either I'll get trips from them or give trips to them. I don't know. It's especially on the Little Red River. It's quite the community of 11 guys. Everyone knows everyone. People kind of share the same trips a lot of times. But no, I mean, I would say, personally, I don't like getting on the river until it's November to January. I mean, the White River has been really good all year, but which is kind of an abnormal year for that. We've had really, really good water flow. Even I live kind of in Batesville now, and you can catch trout in Batesville right now still.
Really, all the way down there.
But yeah, so it's been I lost a 21-inch pure palmetto trout probably 2 months ago. It was pretty cool. It was the biggest palmetto I've ever had on. Yeah, no, the fishing's tremendous. The walleyes, it's unreal. There's a lot of sturgeon down here on the White River too. People don't really realize that either.
Yeah, you hear that? Lambert's not here tonight, but he's always dogging Arkansas, Cody, for things he doesn't like about it. But he hasn't explored anywhere.
The bass fishing is horrible. We have the biggest trout in the world. We have the biggest trout. Yeah,
that makes me feel better about our performances in Arkansas.
Come on, man.
Oh, it's it's 3 species. Most of them aren't much more than 12 to 14 inches. We don't have much grass. We don't have much vegetation. So it's a tough, it's tough to grow big bass. And our good bass lakes are just standing timber, which is super hard to fish. So
I still keep begging for a big event to come to Bull Shoals, Cody. I love Bull Shoals. Would you be okay with that?
Oh, especially early in the year,
yeah. Bull's awesome.
But yeah, those lakes all get tough though. Those thermoclines get so deep on those lakes.
Yeah, tough. You're not making my case any easier for him when he hears this. Damn it. But yeah, any more questions from the crowd? Throw them in there. I see Katie's commenting. If you guys were listening at the beginning, she's looking for a place to land for the Baca family. So Tennessee may be the spot. Steve's watching. He'll have you guys set up in no time if he gets to Tennessee.
Oh, dude, I was messaging Steve all day today, actually.
Oh, Bob Baylor said, am I fishing the All-American in September on both shoals? No, I'm not, because I'll be pre-fishing on Dardanelle for the BOS event. I won't be off during the week, so I got to go down there and, that's my last shot at doing anything on the BOS this year. So I've got to give all my cards to Dardanelle. Cody, you fishing it? He asked if you're fishing it as well.
I am. Yep.
You're fishing.
I'm excited about it.
You're fishing bull or Dardanelle?
No, I'm fishing Dardanelle.
Yeah. Yep. He was wondering about the Bull Shoals All-American event.
I would probably like that more than going to Dardanelle.
Yeah, true.
But yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Bull Shoals.
Another question for you. So, what's the deepest you've caught a bass in Arkansas?
52 feet.
Okay. Where was that at?
Yep. On a drop shot on Greer's Ferry.
Okay.
Oddly enough, it was a largemouth. Yeah. That was the weird. It was like one piece of pole timber, like way off this, way off this point. And it was, I don't know. I don't really remember what time of year it was. It was July or September. But yeah, it was straight up 52 foot. Always remember it.
Yeah, my father-in-law and I have caught him in 40 plus on Washita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 40, so like 45 is my number, but I rarely get them deeper than that. And it's usually 45 over like 90. Right. Like 45, 70, 45 over 110, something like that. But the deepest, like straight up on the bottom's 52, like not suspended at all.
Matt, the guy that asked the question, Matt Zapala, said he's caught at 87 feet in New York. I'm assuming smallmouth and 87 feet.
Yeah.
You'd think.
Yeah, that's amazing. Cody's biggest creek, Smalley, from the creek he doesn't want, named just north of him. He doesn't want you don't want the creek? You got a secret creek up there, man?
So the biggest fish I've caught at that creek is not a smallmouth. The two biggest ones are largemouth. I've caught two over 21. They're both largemouth. These
boys talking about crooked? What are they talking about?
Yeah, probably. I imagine.
Yeah, crooked's the stuff. I love Crooked Creek.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, what's cool, like, it didn't have any ramps until 6 years ago. Like, literally had no ramps until 6 years ago. Like, before that, it was absolutely unbelievable. But it's still cool, but it's nothing like it was 5 years ago.
So when I first got into kayak fishing, I met some buddies up here, and they talked me into going and doing some overnighters over there. And that was some of the best times camping on this. Because, like you said, you put in, and that's it. There's nobody else coming in on you unless they catch up to you. And that was rare. So, yeah, beautiful stuff.
Yeah. But the biggest smallmouth, I honestly don't think I've ever had a 20-inch smallmouth. I think it's like 19 and a quarter. But I've caught one tagged fish, and I've seen another tagged fish caught. So I've seen like $400 worth of fish caught on Crooked Creek.
It didn't Russ or somebody catch a tag fish over there on one of those float trips? Who was it?
It was like the one time I take him on a smallmouth float, he catches like a tagged fish 4 years after they tagged him. So right.
Yeah, that's nuts. You need to get over this way, man. Fish the Illinois. They've got 21 pluses in there, and down all the way down into 10 killer. So you have a good time over there. Let's see. Bob Baylor says you got to fish the river from Red Wing down to Prairie du Chien if you want to chase big smallie. He's talking about all those northern lakes, Mille Lacs, Leech, all that stuff. Yeah. There's not many tournaments on Mille Lacs. There was one scheduled, and the wind got too high, and they canceled it.
Yeah, I've heard that like if it's over 15, it's like impossible out there, but never been. So
just a big wide open bowl, so I can imagine it gets pretty rough, especially for a kayak. Can't imagine a bass boat.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Speaking of up north, man, you said you might be heading out right after this podcast. Are you leaving tonight, tomorrow, heading to Wolf and Fox?
No, I'm going to leave in the morning, but I am going up to the Wolf and the Fox now. So I think I'm probably going to leave at like 7 in the morning. I was packing right before this. So got the Whopper Ploppers packed, got the Gizmos packed, we're ready to go.
Oh, you got the Gizmos. You on that minor deal with the Gizmos?
I don't. Mine are back ordered, so I'm waiting for mine.
All right.
But I'll get them soon enough.
What, you been up there? You ever been to that area before?
I haven't. Look, I mean, it looks like, I don't know. I mean, some of it looks like La Crosse a little bit, but I know it's, it's still a couple hours from there, but I'm hoping it's fairly similar.
Yeah. What do you think they're going to hit numbers wise? Is Reg closed or is it closed Wednesday, like tomorrow or Thursday, something like that?
I think it was moved back to Wednesday was what I saw, but man, I would have to believe feels like it'd be hard to believe it won't take more than about 93 a day or so. Maybe even, maybe a touch more. I feel like it's going to be like that Champlain number, but maybe a touch under.
Yeah, I don't know much about the area. I know I personally, I love that part of the country as far as what it looks like, what the fishing's like with lacrosse in that area. I love going up there. I'm not going to make it to this one, but I love going up there, and I would love to just kind of hang out up there in the summers when it gets hot down here.
Yep.
So
I hope at least the Hobie. I hope we get a couple more tournaments back in lacrosse next year. This was like the first year we really didn't get to go up there in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of not a risky move, but outside the box to go to Wolf and Fox instead. I'm sure lacrosse was on board to probably host them again, but just going back to the region and trying something different, bold move. I applaud them for that, but it's not pulling the numbers that, as far as the entries that I'm sure they hoped it would. What do you think's up with that? Just an unfamiliar lake name and it being midsummer?
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, like with the last time we went to lacrosse, it was that same time of the year, and I want to say it was like 110 or 120. Yeah. I mean, I think the time of the year, they've got a pretty good crowd of kayakers up there. But if I was looking at the leaderboard yesterday, and man, I would say 80% of them are from Wisconsin. Like, I mean, it's not like they pulled bad from Wisconsin. It just didn't seem like a lot of people were traveling.
Yeah. And it is school starting this week, most places. So who knows what that did to people's travel plans. And I think over the last year or two, we've gotten kind of spoiled with entries as well, because I think just a few years ago, if you just said Wolf and Fox rivers and you have, 80, 90 anglers in it, you'd be blown away by those numbers.
Especially weeks in advance too.
We got kind of spoiled with the quick sellouts. So I think it's still solid numbers. I'm sure they wanted more than that, but first time in a new place, still solid. Historically, still solid. Bob keeps saying, he always says this. Bob's saying lacrosse is overrated. He says pool 4, 5, and 6 is better quality fish.
I've heard that for a long time.
Yeah, but lacrosse is like the town is right there on the river. You got all the restaurants, the hotels, so it just makes sense,
Actually, I fished. I don't remember what pools they are. I think they're actually the ones below those. But I spent probably a week or two in the Iowa pools for some like Costa event back in the day. But I actually enjoyed those. It's pretty much the same. The river is bigger, but the backwaters are all just lily pads and grass.
Is it just less pressure from tournaments down there, or is it just different?
It's a lot. I mean, you're starting to already look like in Memphis a little bit in Iowa, like that kind of chocolatey mud. I was there.
Yeah, that's what people. If you've never been up north, I cross over the Arkansas or the Mississippi River going into Tennessee whenever we head that way, and when you see the Mississippi there. That is not the Mississippi River at its origins up north. I mean, it's beautiful up there. Different water. No dead bodies floating down the river that I've seen yet. Yeah. Anyway, different country up north in lacrosse.
Yeah.
So.
I love that trip though, because you pass Memphis and you're still like 10 hours away going up to the same river. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's wild. I go. Obviously, I'm leaving from here. I have to go up through the wasteland of middle of Missouri and. Cornfields of Iowa. It is pretty, but man, it's like you see the same thing forever. When I was stationed in North Dakota, it reminded me of being there. You could just on a clear day, if you look straight ahead, you can see your own back. It was just terrible. It was flat and boring. No offense to my guys from the north. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's another thing about Texas, man. We're missing some mountains. It is freaking flat here. It's flat and hot. We need some mountains.
Yeah. See, Tennessee, you'll be covered. Tennessee or Arkansas.
Exactly.
Bob's saying bigger fish down by Clinton, Illinois. You're getting crazy on us now, Bob. We're not going any further south. We're not doing that. Let's see what else we got for you tonight, Cody. What do you think it's going to take coming down the stretch, man? I mean, otherwise coming to an end, you only got a couple events left. Is it kind of like you're going to try to call one more event and put all your focus on the championships? Or what's your plan going down the stretch here?
A little bit, yeah. No, I would love to get another top 3. I don't know the reality of that happening. I mean, honestly, dude, I love the Arkansas River. I don't like how it fishes that time of the year, particularly. I feel honestly like I have a better chance going up to the Wolf and the Fox. Like it seems like every year I randomly get a couple good like smallmouth tournaments, under my belt. So I'm kind of hoping that this might be one of those.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, like I said, every year it's come down to those championships, whether it's the BOS, KBFS, whatever.
I think whoever wins the TOC this year will win AOY. I think it'll be the first year that happens.
Okay. Yeah, that could happen for sure. Are you involved? The bass AOY standings are hard to find. Are you in the running over there? Have you fished many bass events this year?
Fished an event yet. I think I will fish the Pickwick event though. I think I will try to make for the classic at that last event.
Okay. I got on their website and it's still showing the standings from back in March. And I don't know. I couldn't find an updated thing, so I couldn't say if you were a triple threat or not. I didn't have.
I was just gonna say that's what I'm finding. They haven't updated it since March.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I know that Justin Largan's looking strong over there. Drew's looking strong over there. Is it just a scheduling thing that you haven't fished over there much?
Yeah, a little bit. It was, I went to that first classic, on Russell. And it was in my opinion, it would have been really hard to have fished all three series this year to any efficiency at all. And in all honesty, my favorite schedule without a doubt was the Bassmaster schedule. And I love bass. The reason I am fishing still is because of Bassmaster, for sure. But, it's just, I still don't think it's quite right. I thoroughly intend on fishing quite a few events with them next year. I just think that it was still, I don't know, it was just still a little early. It just didn't seem like, I don't know. I don't want to say that everyone over there wasn't on board because I definitely feel like they are now. It was just, I don't know, if you were at those classics, you probably saw some things that I'm, maybe kind of
100%. 100%. Well, rumors are swirling that they're making a hire on the kayak side of things.
I think they would.
Yeah. And if they do that and they can get somebody with, some instant street cred, if you will, on the kayak side that, people will believe that's going to get cleaned up, I think it'll take off because, like you said, they got the logo. I mean, they've got the shield.
They've got the name and the history, and it's there's no competing with that.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I was going to say, I actually did find a more updated AOI for them. It was last updated in April, and it looks like Garrett Morgan's leading the pack.
But he's not. That's the problem. I text Garrett. I said, "Are you?" Because I was going to have Garrett on too, all the AOYs together. But he said, "No, I'm in third place." I said, "Dude, the last standing shows you're in first." And he said, "No, I'm in third." So anyway, I couldn't figure it out. I think Justin Largan is in first. He's had a great year on a couple series himself. So I don't know. We'll figure it out by Pickwick. I hope we'll see who's in the lead. But I wanted to ask you one more thing before we wrap it up tonight, Cody. There's always a lot of talk, and on social media, there's been multiple threads every year. They argue about it, and people get mad about it and all that. And that is, I know you're fishing the KBF Pro Series, and it is pro by name, but what are your thoughts on an eventual pro invitational type series that you have to qualify for? Would it be sustainable in the kayak world, and how far away you think we are from it?
I think we're 2 years from having a set roster for tournaments. I really do. I don't know if I would have maybe said that last year, but it's hard to believe that's not the next step. It's
right.
What sport are you a fan of where you don't know anyone, or you don't support someone there, for me, soccer is the only one. I do watch some soccer, but I don't know any of them. So, I guess there's some, there's a little bit of, another side of that, but it has to be the next step. I've, whether it's a void, whether it's, whatever it may be, bass, obviously it seems like bass has the easiest platform to do it, right? You follow the kind of the same MO you have with the federation and kind of go from there. But it's a lot easier said than done, and the participation during the late part of the summers are kind of odd with a set field. If you're going to be at 8 events or 9 events, you've already scheduled that time, and those events are still going to have 100 people. Yeah. And that's another, if there is a set roster of a field, I don't even know what the number should be. What could it possibly be? What's the highest you could actually get? 75, 50?
Right. How many could commit? Right.
Could actually do it, from sponsorships to whatever, family. It's probably not a ton. It's not, not so that it might not be some decent TV in it, though.
Yeah. I got to thinking about this again because I just watched, it was last week sometime, ESPN does their ESPN 8, the Ocho day.
Yeah.
They throw all these obscure sports all day long. Yeah. And there's pro everything. There's pro everything. There's pro, it's foot volleyball / ping pong professionals out there doing some crazy stuff. Pro corgi racing.
I'm putting pickleball on the same level as kayak fishing right now. made it like the entries are like the same as a kayak tournament right now. Like you win a professional pickleball tournament, it's like $10,000.
Yeah,
with like a 3.
So
it's like we're on the level.
I don't know if you guys throw beanbags around, but pro cornhole's on ESPN and CBS and everything else, and those guys are wearing jerseys like the kayak anglers all over the place.
Right.
Winning about the same, about 10 grand, 15 grand, whatever.
Yeah.
But yet we don't have pro kayak fishing. So who's going to make it happen? Yeah, Bob. He says pro raccoon hunting is a thing. I can believe that, Bob.
Yeah.
So I'll be curious to see how it develops. How obviously it's not going to mirror exactly like the Elite Series or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a roster big enough people to commit. Let's say it was, I don't know, $4,000 for the year or whatever it is. I don't know. But do we have 75 people that can do that and commit to however many events ahead of time? I don't know. I don't think so yet. So I'll be curious what the next step is.
It does feel like that number is growing, though. Every year it feels like there's a few more people trying to kind of go all in with it.
Yeah, and you know what? Sponsors, I know Old Town takes really good care of the pro staff and the pro team. I know other companies, ride companies, reel companies, boat companies, whatever, are getting behind their anglers, and it's going to take some of that too. They're going to have to be willing to not just give them a free ride and reel, but throw some money behind them and say, "Hey, we got you. We'll at least cover your gas or your entry fees or whatever to go do this."
I think that's one of the biggest caveats to really opening that sort of platform up is they have to start backing people monetarily. Kicking somebody $1,000 worth of gear is absolutely awesome. We're super grateful every time we get that, but if you really want to bump it up to the next level, they're going to have to invest in us a little more.
Yeah. So we'll see. And they're going to have to get an ROI. So who's going to be able to put it on TV or stream it on the internet somewhere or whatever? We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Well, Cody, man, I appreciate you being willing to come on here tonight. I know you're packing up and get ready to go on the road. It's always good to visit with you. We're always, following what you're doing, especially the Arkansans here, following you from in-state. So we're always proud of you and Garrett and the other guys that go out there and make the state proud. So good stuff, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Well, I'm gonna let you slide out here. Anything you want to give us a shout about before you go? Are you good?
I'd like to thank Fish USA. I know last week they had a lot of 85% deals, so I think they have some pretty sweet clearance deals going on right now. And the Newport vessels, I mean, that thing is the first year in 4 years I fished out of the same boat with the same motor all year, and it has been unbelievable. Like between that NK 180 and the Hobie 360. Even if like my drive is broken one time, the belt that everyone talks about is broken one time, and it broke 2 hours left in the tournament. I swear I would have taken those 6 hours with it working versus 8 hours with the 180. Yeah. Like I love that boat, and I'm not really with them or anything, but that thing's been a big key for me this year. In Dakota Lithium, like their 24 volt packs have been pretty well. Like I'll burn like 16 miles like every day in practice. Like that's like pretty consistent. So that's done a lot for me too this year, and they've helped me a lot as well. And Dobbins rods, it's the first year I've been with them, but man, I swear it's some of the best like composite blanks I've ever felt. And I always say that, but for me, it's been really hard to find a cranking or a jerkbait rod that is somewhat sensitive as like any moderate action at all. And Dobbins has some really good composites and some composite glass rods that you should check out.
Awesome.
But that's about it for me.
I got a couple in the garage. Friend of mine broke one 2 weeks ago, but Dobbins has a great warranty, so I don't have a problem getting that replaced.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. All right, man. Well, I'll let you slide out here. Appreciate you once again, sir.
All right. Thank y'all. I had a good time.
Katie, what a show. That was awesome.
It was fun. It's always a good time.
Yeah. I appreciate you sliding in here last minute, stepping in for Mr. Lambert. Any parting thoughts before we get out of here? Have you made a decision on where you're going to move to yet? During the show?
I was going to say I would not be surprised if we ended up in Tennessee.
Okay.
That's looking like the solid front runner right now.
All right. Well, I can't wait to see how that goes for you. Once again, congrats on the new baby. Tell Ryan I said what's up. Everybody, thanks for watching, commenting, whatever, and we're going to let everybody get out of here. Everybody have a great night.